Hey, scientists. Yesterday we learned a very big word called an engineer. And an engineer uses science and math to help solve problems. And yesterday we talked about a bridge. And remember the bridge? There was a problem. The people wanted to get from one side of the land to the other with the water in between. The only way for them to get over the problem that they used was to create a bridge. And so that bridge was the solution to the problem. The engineers had to work very hard to create it to make it safe for bikes and cars and people all over to get back and forth. Well, also, we saw another problem in our book, and it was a little boy who had a pocket full of things, and things were falling off his out of his pocket. So I quickly talked about one way to solve the problem was put a zipper. Did you think of another way to solve that problem? Maybe buttons, larger pockets, a couple different things we could have used. Mia had a problem. Her headphones were tangled, and we realized that headphones don't work very well if they're tangled. And I saw some great work from you telling me how Mia should solve her problem. You did a super job. And then we watched a video, and Jessie had a problem. Jessie, her back was itching, and she really couldn't quite reach it. So she needed a back scratcher. So in class, we found some things that we could be an engineer. We saw a problem. Jessie needed a back scratcher. We could create the solution. So, what I want you to do is think about how you could be an engineer by looking at different things in your house that mom or dad wouldn't mind you using. And I want you to think of how you can help fix Jessie's problem. So, in class, we didn't have a lot of different materials, but there were some materials we did have. You may have something different. We had some tape. We figured that might be kind of good. We had didn't have forks, so we had plastic spoons, straws, and I think we had Play-Doh. I left it over there. I'll show you. We had Play-Doh, and then we had this kind of tape. Okay, these are the things that we had. So we took the time to think about what Jesse's problem was and we saw our objects and thought, how can we fix Jesse's problem? So I would want you to start out on a sheet of paper. It could be any kind of paper if you have it. I want you to think about make your model, but I want you to draw your model of Jesse's problem. So, because engineers will often start it by a model. So what I'm thinking is starting with a straw because I need a long arm. And it is a bendy straw. And I thought if I bend it for me, can you see that? Let me see if I can get it to there. You could see possibly. Let me see if I have a darker, if this one writes darker for you. Possibly. That's a little better. So I have my bendy straw. And then I have my spoon. I was thinking a fork would work better, but I didn't have a fork. Okay. And I have my spoon. And then I have my Play-Doh. So I'm going to mark it Play-Doh, straw, spoon. I'm going to label it so that I could see what I need to make my back scratcher. Then I'm going to create my back scratcher. So things I know I need a straw, I need Play-Doh, and I need a spoon. So then I'm going to create it and then I'm going to test it. Does it work? If it doesn't work, I need to go back out to look at my drawing and say, what do I need to make it work? Well, we discovered something. We discovered that if we used Play-Doh, it didn't stick as well as tape. But some students wanted to keep the Play-Doh, so they found ways to make that Play-Doh work. We also discovered something that if we put too many straws together, it made it flimsy and it wasn't a very good back scratcher. So, what I want you to do today is I want you to be an engineer. I want you to help Jessie with her problem and create a back scratcher. You do not need to use a straw, a plastic spoon, Play-Doh, and tape. You can use something that you have around your house that mom and dad wouldn't mind you using and see what you come up with. Again, if you find that something isn't working, first of all, draw a picture of it. And if you find, after you've drawn a picture of it, after you've created it and you've tried it, if it doesn't work, go back and see if you can find a way to make it work. You do not need to complete this by today. It is Wednesday, so if you would have it completed by Friday, that would be great. We'll have a couple lessons Thursday and Friday, but your back scratcher, it might take you time to gather some materials. It might take you time to think about the best way to make it and draw it out and create it and go back and fix it. So don't feel like you need to complete it today, but I want you to think about it, start your process on it. Okay, then I want to have you right now watch a video of Jesse's solution. It says Jesse and Squeaks build a better back scratcher. So they did theirs. Should we check theirs out? Am I on the right part? Let's see.
Going to solve some problems. If you were with us last time, you'll remember that we were learning to think like engineers. Engineers are people who make something to solve a problem. And the thing that they make to solve the problem is called a solution. Squeaks and I were looking for a solution to the problem that I had. And I still have it. My back is super itchy, and the itchy part is in a place that I can't reach. Since we were thinking like engineers, Squeaks and I decided to follow the same set of steps that engineers use to solve problems. Do you remember the steps that they used? You're right, Squeaks! The first step is ask. We asked and answered questions about the problem, like what is the problem and what can we use to solve it? Then we went looking around the fort to find stuff we could use to build our solution. And here's what we found. Some rulers, modeling dough, a pencil, a plastic fork, the cardboard roll from a roll of paper towels, and some tape. Now, we don't have to use all of this stuff, but we can only choose from what's here. All right, the second step is... Right again, Squeaks! Imagine! We used our imaginations to think of solutions to the problem of my itchy back and decided to build back scratchers. Then we decided to take some time to draw some ideas for back scratchers using a pencil and paper. Now, I think I'm done with my sketch. Squeaks, how are you doing? Great, because this itch is really annoying. Do you remember the next step that engineers take? You're on a roll, Squeaks! You are right. The next step that engineers take to solve problems is to create. And that means it's time to build our back scratchers. We'll look at our drawings and do the best we can to make what we've drawn. And we're done! After engineers have made their solution, or at least a model of it, the next step is to test it. In engineering, testing means trying out an idea to see if it solves the problem. Let's try my back scratcher first. I used some tape to fasten the plastic fork to this pencil. All right, here it goes. The back scratcher doesn't quite reach the itchy spot on my back. It's just too short. So my idea doesn't do a good job of solving the problem. And that's okay, not all ideas work. If an engineer's idea doesn't work, they pick another one to test. Engineers don't give up, and neither do we. So let's test Squeak's idea next. His design uses modeling dough to stick a fork to the end of a ruler. So let me give this one a try. Well, it's definitely long enough to reach my itchy spot. Oh, it works. Uh-oh. Whoops. It looks like I pushed a little too hard, though. The fork fell off the end of the ruler. I guess the dough wasn't strong enough to make it stick to the ruler. But that's okay, because we have one more step to take. That's right, Squeaks. Improve. Improve means to make better. What engineers do, and what we need to do, is to look at our idea to see if we can make it better. While the second back scratcher worked, it did fall apart. So let's see if we can improve it so that it doesn't fall apart. My back scratcher wasn't long enough, but it did stay together. I used tape to hold the fork onto the pencil, and Squeaks used modeling dough. I wonder what would happen if we used tape to hold the parts of Squeak's back scratcher together instead of the dough. Let's try it and see if this improves our second idea. Okay, we did it. Now, let's test it. It works! It is long enough to reach the spot on my back, and it's staying together. Using the tape instead of the modeling dough improved our solution. Now, if we wanted to, we could try to build a totally different solution with the same stuff to see if we could come up with an even better back scratcher. We could try using the paper towel tube to see if it would make it longer, or see if there's a way to make one that folds up so I could fit it in my pocket. There's no limit to the number of solutions we could try. But for now, I'm just glad to not have an itchy back anymore. Thanks for joining us on SciShow Kids, and a big thanks goes to Google Making Science for helping us make this episode. Do you have an invention that you'd like to show off? We'd love to see it. Ask a grown-up to help you. Leave a comment down below or send us an email to kids@scishow.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time here at the fort.
All right, so engineers, you need to complete your back scratcher, do your drawing, create it, test it out, fix it if it needs to be fixed. You have till Friday to complete your back scratcher. All right, enjoy.
Next time here at the fort.